That's me and my siblings. And I think in about 1976, which is about when this story takes place. So, come with me, if you will, to a winter night in the late 70s when the entire world was awash in avocado green and harvest gold. It's a Saturday night, and I'm in a familiar place, home, babysitting, for my 3 younger siblings. Now, my parents were not big partiers. Most of their social life revolved around church friends and activities. But at this particular time in our family history, they'd been associating with a more rowdy crowd and had been staying out quite late. This group, the governing board of the parent-child program at Hinsdale United Methodist Church, or the preschool board. My youngest brother was 4 at the time, and my mom had just started back to work as a preschool teacher. The preschool board was made up of a super fun group of people, all who were good friends of my parents with kids the same age. What resulted was a fortuitous time of meetings that were notoriously more pleasure than business. So this board met monthly, or maybe it was quarterly, I don't remember. But anyway, this was one of those nights. My siblings and I had settled in for what we thought would be a long, parent-free night. And sometime during the course of the evening, we decided to make popcorn, which we'd done many times and had permission to do. Unfortunately, I became distracted and left the oil preheating a tad too long. As I lifted the lid to add the popcorn, poof, it burst into flames. In the mature fashion that one would expect from a firstborn, I promptly dropped the lid and began running through the house screaming, "Fire! Fire!" What happened to all of my training? I had more Girl Scout badges than a 5-star general, including babysitting and fire prevention, but I'd become completely unglued. My sister Cheryl walks in, sister number 2, rolls her eyes at the drama, grabs a nearby glass of water, and yeah, you guessed it, throws it on the fire. Grease, fire everywhere. Again, more screaming, running around by me. Grab remaining 2 siblings. Run next door to the neighbors, no shoes, in the snow. The fire department's called, and by the time the trucks, plural, show up on our dead-end street, you can imagine the scene that was. Sirens wailing, firemen in raincoats and boots with axes busting through the door. Not really, but still, it sounds more dramatic that way. By the time that all happens, the fire is already out. Excitement over, firemen say, "We're good to go," and everybody leaves. I survey the chaos. I need to call my parents. Now, this was back in the old days when they had to leave the phone number, remember that? Where they were going. You didn't call unless you had a true emergency, unlike our kids today, who literally text us on a whim and say things like, "Tell Anna to get off the Netflix," or "Bring home food." No, this was a real emergency. So with trembling fingers, I dialed the rotary phone of the number of the host's house where the meeting is taking place. Certain that this is my fault, I'm going to be in big trouble. You know, that just comes with the territory. When you're the oldest, you have guilt. Now, before I tell you what happened next, let me tell you a little bit about my mom. Here's a photo of her at about that period in time. My mom, Carol, started college as a vocal music performance major and ended up as an elementary school teacher, married her high school sweetheart, and had her first drink at 21, a gin and squirt. As a homemaker, she sewed our clothes and our Barbie's clothes, made jelly from the grapevines in our yard, cut our bangs with baking shears, made gingerbread houses, volunteered at school, directed the children's choir at church. and was our brownie and Girl Scout leader. She was such a dorky goody two-shoes. She couldn't even swear well. God damn fucking hell shit! I once referred to her as being annoyingly perky. Let's just say, as the quintessential homemaker, she had this stay-at-home mom thing down. All right, back to me dialing the phone. You get the picture. As soon as the host answers, I can hear uproarious laughter and carousing going on in the background. And I ask for my mom. She comes to the phone. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm sure I relay the whole scenario. Fire, no shoes, snow, fire department, neighbors, utter devastation, annihilation. I'm waiting for her to start yelling, or at the very least express her concern and assure me that they'll be on their way home immediately. Instead, my mother says, well, is the fire out? My sweet people, they did not come home. Like a dead body at a crime scene, I draped an apron, yes, she wore an apron, over the charred, melted remains of the front of the microwave that was mounted above the stovetop so I didn't have to look at the carnage. Hours passed, I decided to go to bed, never fell asleep. I heard them roll in about 1:30. What is the moral of this story? You know, it could be as simple as buy your kids some Doritos before you go out. Or perhaps it's deeper, having more to do with a pivotal point in my spiritual journey characterized by the quote, what is to give light must endure burning. Now, this is an easy one. Sometimes you just need a night out, and moms are people too.